Everybody, Dr. Willie Jolley, and
This is D.
D.
Taylor Jolley.
And we are coming to you live and living color from Martha's Vineyard. Woo, woo, woo.
And where's Martha's Vineyard for those who don't know?
Everybody know where Martha's Vineyard, but
Everybody
maybe
know
people,
where Martha's Vineyard is?
people on the other countries might not know. It's in Massachusetts, in USA. And we've got a special show for you tonight, a really unique show. All of these people have been on the show at some time over the last couple of years, and they've come in different figurations. They were with us at Outer Banks at the beach last August with the Boardleys.
Outer Banks in North
Hey
Carolina.
to the Boardleys, to Ronnie and Lynn Boardley. And then we were in Cleveland in October, and we were with Reverend Paul Sadler and his beautiful bride Kim. And many of you might remember that show. Well, it was a very popular show because they tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. They break it down to the ground. Okay, so we wanted to have a special show. We're in Martha's Vineyard, and we wanted to have a little time with them. And the interesting thing is you've got three couples who've all been married over 30 years.
Praise the Lord.
And have had 30 years of
Jesus.
experience. The goods, the bad, the ups, the downs, the challenges.
And I'm glad you didn't say the ugly.
The ugly. We did not say the ugly. But there are some lessons here that we think can be profoundly impactful for your relationships. So we want you to share this, share. Put it on your network, share. And then we want you to tell that this is something you love. We want to see those little love things so more people will know to tune in. In fact, text people, send them a note, share it, say, watch right now, because you're going to get some great information. Not something that somebody read in the book, not something somebody heard about, but these are lessons from people who lived it for 30 years plus.
Correct.
And through the good, the bad, and the challenges. So let's first start with Brad and Terry Thomas. And it's actually Brad and Terry Thompson Thomas. That's her maiden name is Thompson, and her married name is Thomas. Y'all been married for how long?
35 years.
Almost.
35. Yeah.
September
another month.
22nd.
Another month.
Okay, in September there'll be 35 years.
Yes.
Paul and Kim have been married for
38 years.
38 years in October. And for those who might remember or who don't know, he counseled us when we got married.
He counseled us about getting married.
He talked you into helping. He helped a brother get you to stay with me and finally say yes. But he counseled us and talked to us about the challenges of marriage and about what the responsibilities. And we can't say enough. Let me take a moment here to say to people, for those who are just joining, we're the authors of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. We tell people in this book 10 secrets for shaping a great marriage. Some of these lessons are lessons that we learned through our 34 years of marriage, but some also are people we interviewed who've been married 40, 50, and 60 years. We cannot stress, though, how important it is to get premarital counseling. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If it's possible, it's in your realm of possibilities.
It's crucial today.
Yes, it's crucial.
It's crucial today, especially with social media and people pretending you don't really know who they are.
Yeah.
They appear to be glamorous. They look glamorous on the outside, but it really is what is going on the inside. And you need premarital counseling to break it down.
Amen. Absolutely. So we've got people who have lived it and have experienced it. So what we want to do is we're going to talk about some of the principles in the next few minutes. We only got a few minutes because we're here actually on vacation. You know, we are getting a little R&R. We haven't seen Barack and Michelle yet. We'll hook up with them later. All right.
They're gone.
So let's see. Okay, we got a few people. Olympia Borley saying hello, and we got a few.
Oh, hey, Lynn.
Hi, Lynn.
Saying hello. Let's see. Oh wow, Stan Robbins, Gretchen
Hey,
Williams.
Stan.
Hey, Gretchen from North Carolina. Brad Terry Lynn says hello.
Hi, Lynn.
Juan Gutierrez says, I love you, brother, and I love you back, Juan. Jill's tweet is watching, and many
Hi,
others. We got a lot of people. Hey, Tanya Leverman. Hey, everybody. Okay, we're getting folks coming on. They're coming. So, look, we want to talk about staying married. Now,
Staying happily married.
happily married. Now, you've got 2 children
Yes.
and a grandchild and a half.
Yes.
We got 2 children because we got one on the way. When is baby due?
October the 8th.
All right, and we got 2 children, 2 grandchildren, and so we all have 2 children. What are over the 30 years, what's been one of the biggest challenges that you've had in marriage? 3 things usually break up marriages: sex, money, and communication. How do y'all do money? Do you have 1 pot, 2 pot, or 3 pots? In other words, do you have all the money going in 1 pot and one person write the checks? Or do you have you have 1 pot?
So here's my answer.
We never had that.
We got as many pots as we can get.
Yeah, we never had that.
Okay.
All right.
My philosophy is it have as many different pots as you can get.
But
In
who
other words,
writes the checks? to
we
pay
all
the
do.
bills?
We both do.
Yeah.
So here,
I've always had my own account.
We've always,
Closet.
when we first started out, we tried this one account stuff. Personally, I think that is something from another age.
Well, we're gonna tell you. No, we'll tell you about how it works.
Okay.
Now we'll give you. You let it finish.
I just think it doesn't work for in a lot of my
Didn't work
throughout
for
my
us.
counseling experience. I have found that that's very challenging for couples who are very independent and who have a lot going on. Kim has a lot going on in her life. I have a lot going on in my life. We're both engaged in all kinds of different things. We're engaged in different things philanthropically. So when it
But we
comes
divide the bills
to
and stuff like that. I think that's helpful.
right, we divide the bills. But when it comes to what she wants to support philanthropically and what I want to support philanthropically, I don't want to limit what she sees that she wants to give money to, or what I see that I want to give money to, or what I want to, or if, see, and the other thing is, I like surprises. I like to surprise. I don't like to be surprised. She knows I hate being surprised. I like to surprise her.
Okay.
And so, if I want to buy something, I don't want her to be able to see.
Let me ask you a question.
And we don't use checks
There's a reason for
anymore
this.
anyway. Who used checks?
How old were you all when y'all got married?
25.
20, I was 24.
All right.
This man was 24.
I was 24.
And 2 days.
Right.
He turned 25
2 days after we got married. I was young. She married a younger man.
All right.
She
So
married a younger
there's a
man.
reason. Now there's a reason why I
Okay.
asked you that, and I've
He
proved
turned
it.
25 to 2 days after
They,
the wedding.
I believe y'all do the 1 pot.
Yep.
All right. How
Well, we do the 1 pot, but I have my own account,
Uh-huh.
and I can do whatever I want to with that account.
Okay.
But he has a law firm. He runs a law firm, and he pays all of our bills.
Okay.
Right. So
All right. Okay.
that has
And-
worked for us.
And how old are y'all?
Exactly.
How old were y'all
Whatever
when
we
y'all?
We're 30.
All right. So what we found is that 1 pot works depending on age and stage of your relationship. 2 pot or 3 pot as you progress and you have some resources or some assets. It starts to change because you get the independent. We have a 3 pot, and the 3 pot, for those who don't know, and hopefully all of you will be getting the book. If you don't have the book, get the book because it goes into greater detail. But what you learn here is that each one of these couple has a system, and they have a system, and they've worked through the system. Okay, and that's one of the things we've talked to couples who said, "I don't have a system. I have no idea." One lady told us, "Paul, I don't know where the money is. I don't know how much money it is.
That's
And he writes the check. I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
I said, that's not good.
No.
That's not good. Okay, money. We talked about that. Let's talk about communication. How do you talk about the difficult things in life? You know, children, illnesses, whatever it is you got to deal with. How do you talk about it? Or do you have an open and honest communication? And how critical
Or what
is
if
it?
you disagree? How do you handle disagreements? When I say when you disagree, as to something as simple as where you're going to go on vacation, or something as complicated as where the kids are going to go to school,
Right.
public school versus private school.
Let's
versus-
take our example of that, okay? So when we were time for William, Latoya, we have two children. One came with the marriage, so we have a blended family, and one we had between the two of us. Now, Latoya, I had put her in private school when she was a little girl, I think first or second grade, and I was paying tuition, but she was in North Carolina. I was in D.C., but I was paying tuition. Then Dee and I got married, and you know, soon thereafter, some time after, William pops up, and so when it's time
Did
for
he
him,
pop up?
he
He
kind
just
of
popped
he
up?
kind of popped up. He kind of
And popped out.
He popped out. Man, you see him now. He's a
That's
big.
a
He's a
unique
big.
way for one
He's a big
child.
guy. But anyway, there's a school from our front door. We can see a school across the street, public school. Okay. She, on the other hand, said, "No, I want him to go to X school, Christian school." And it was 45 minutes one way, and it was costly. She said, that's where he's going to go. And I'm like, free, across the street. She's like, 45 minutes and cash. How do we talk about it? We talked about it. We communicated.
And I convinced him of the merits of him going to Christian school.
So I think what we want to say, sometimes you're in a sharing of value, sharing of ideas, sharing of perspectives to say, here's how I think we should do it. How did y'all do it? Because both your kids went to private school. Y'all spent a lot of money.
A lot of money.
So how did y'all decide that? How did you make that decision to do that? And how did y'all talk through that?
What do you want to say? Go.
I get to speak. Wow. I get to speak, folks.
He talks!
I get to speak. I don't believe it. Anyway. Well, it depends on the circle of your acquaintances. So we were in the circle of acquaintances with people who just were in the frame of mind that private school is the way to go. And so everybody that we knew that we were dealing with on a day-to-day basis was going that way, and so it just made sense. And and I came up through the public schools in D.C. I happen to be fortunate enough to have gone to some of the better schools, and graduated from what was at that time the best academic high school in the city. So, but the people that we were associating with at the time were all saying, "Oh yeah, but you got to go to these private schools. That's the only way to go if you can afford it, if you can make it." And so we just made the decision that that's where to invest the money. That's we weren't wealthy, but we said we'll take the money that we have and focus on getting the education for the children, because you have to invest in in generational wealth.
Right.
And generational transfer of wealth is how families acquire wealth in this country, in this world, for that matter.
Right.
And in this case, it's through education.
Through education.
Right.
So they now y'all are Cleveland, and we have to put in Cleveland have a different level of public schools than our area.
Yeah.
They are well known for having good schools.
Yeah, we moved
Shaker
to
Heights.
Shaker
Shaker
Heights.
Heights.
We
The
live
suburbs,
in Shaker
not-
Heights, Ohio.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
Shaker
Shaker
Heights is
Heights.
well known
Right.
historically
Yeah, we
for
were-
having really good schools.
Shaker Heights, Ohio. I think Shaker Heights probably has the highest property tax rate because it supports its public school
one of them,
system
yes.
so well.
Yes.
Did you
And
move to Shaker Heights because of the school district?
We
everybody
really did. We
encouraged
really
us
did.
to move
Yeah.
to Shaker.
Okay.
And so we did that for the public school system that was so excellent. However, one of the things that we learned, our children were different.
That's right.
And Robin was very inclined to the Eurocentric style of learning, which the public school system is. And Paulie was not. He did not fit into that. He was very athletic and very artistic. Growing up in New York City, we had every type of school you possibly want. Shaker Heights has one high school, one middle school,
And it's strictly academic.
and everything is strictly, so you don't have the diversity in learning styles. And so we eventually ended up putting our son in a private school, but that
Montessori.
Montessori,
Okay, yeah, I understand.
which was much better
And
for
it was
him.
perfect.
Well, he's a creative guy,
That's
Very
right.
and even to this day, we were just talking about offline. Paul is gonna make some money. Paulie gonna make
He's a
money.
free- but it's because he's a free spirit.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
free
And-
spirit.
And the way that the public school system was structured did not work
Fit
for
him.
him.
Yeah.
It didn't work. It didn't work for me, to be quite honest. But my parents kind of towed the line and made me stay there. But we had. Thank God, we were blessed to be able to find a place for Paul where he could excel, and it was like he blossomed when he got into a different kind of school. But going back to what you all said, it costs a lot.
Yeah.
It costs a lot. Sometimes to get the things that you want for your children, you have to make huge sacrifices.
Yes.
Yes.
Huge sacrifices.
It's huge, and I think all of us have done that. We've done it. Y'all have done it. Y'all have done it. Okay. Your marriage. What's the importance? One of the things I know about all of us is that our mates are all our best friends. I know that for sure.
For sure.
I met Kim when I was singing with Gene Carn,
Yep.
and we had a friend named Al Plowden,
Yes.
and he introduced me to Kim. I don't think y'all were married then.
No. Not at all.
But she said, you got to meet my best friend because he and you have so much in common because we were both in seminary. And we met, and she said, he's my
Music,
best
yeah.
friend over on East West High. East
That's
West
how we
High.
were
Okay.
Right.
And so,
Yeah, with the Blair
At the Blair East.
Blair
On
East.
East West Highway. in
East West
Shelby
High.
I
Springs.
lived in the Blair
And
East, yeah.
we became friends, and then they got married. And I know these two were best friends because they met at my house.
Really?
Exactly.
They met
Yeah.
at my
Wow.
Yeah.
my brother was the jazz musician at Howard University, and he had this friend who was an opera singer, and he invited her over, and my band was finishing our band practice, and Bradley was one of the leaders of the band, and they met that night.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so,
Great
and
story.
to this day, they are best friends. You see one, you see the other. They don't make. What's the importance of that in your relationship? I mean, how has that helped to sustain it over the years? He about to say something funny. I can see it. I can see it. I see it coming. But those who don't know Bradley, he got a quip.
Sealed.
So for Terry,
Well, when when you're a good friend with your husband, it makes life so much better. I just have to say, and
Good point.
I mean, we've been married for a long time, but it just feels like we were just married yesterday.
amen. That's
It
good.
really, really does.
That's great.
And,
That-
You enjoy each other.
yeah, we enjoy one another.
Uh-huh.
I can't.
Because he's a character.
And he is a character, and he is a comedian.
He's-
And that's why I can never stay mad at him, because he's going to always crack a joke or make light of the situation.
It's a barrel of laughs
I don't-
every day.
I don't care how bad it is. He's going to, lighten it up. And we
That's
can
good. That's
get
good.
by and get over it and work out things together.
How about
But he's
how
a
about
hoot.
He's a hoot. That humor is one part of their relationship
Yeah.
was very important because in the tough times or in the challenging time, Brad brings levity to even the most difficult times. Well, Paul and Kim, about the fact that y'all are best friends, and it's been that way since before y'all got married. She's
Yep.
Right. We were friends, and this is the interesting thing. So, we were friends when we were in college. And, I used to come to her room in the dormitory and hang out.
Her room was the hangout room.
Her room was the hangout because her mother would send her care packages with steaks in them.
Oh,
How many people's
Lord.
mothers would
Oh,
send them
Lord.
steaks? Her mother sent her steaks. And she would say, "You want a steak and a baked potato?" And I would be like, "Yes." I'm downstairs eating oatmeal. Steak and a baked potato. Okay, so she would make a steak and a baked potato, and I stay all day. So,
He literally would.
and I li- and
My boyfriend would. He
Oh, you had a boyfriend.
she had a boyfriend, and
he would be
her,
so mad.
her boyfriend grew to hate me
Oh yeah. Because I would
because
leave my room
I
open.
was
I was like,
always
oh, he's just
there.
No, because you were always eating his steak.
And so it's so funny. We had a friend who, because we were always together. I told the church in Sunday morning, I was talking about the day I was baptized. Baptized at Mount Sinai Baptist Church in Washington, D.C., at 3rd and Q.
Oh,
Yeah.
Reverend
That's what I
David
do.
Durham.
Yeah.
I was
He
there
went
Sunday.
there Sunday.
Were you there?
Yeah.
Wow.
When I don't want to go all the way to our church, I just walk
Okay.
around the corner.
And so the day I was baptized, the first person I called was Kim. We were best friends. There was no way I was going to be baptized without her being there.
Okay.
And so I told that story to the congregation on Sunday and told, because it's just a powerful story. It's very touching, but we've been through a lot
Oh yeah.
together, a lot together when we were friends and since we've been married, because that's the nature of a 38-year relationship. We've been through a lot, and when I think about the fact that I'm turning my phone off so it won't ring.
Yeah.
When I think about the things that we've been through, and I know that all of those things have continued to strengthen our relationship, because like Terry and Brad, we're both crazy.
Oh yes.
So,
Wait a minute, what you trying to say?
well,
I have to watch my mouth while
we
I'm on the
are
show.
both,
I know it's a family affair.
Kim and I are two extreme
Entertainment
extroverts.
purposes only.
So you asked the question. I'm gonna go back to the previous question about how do you work things out.
Yes.
Two extroverts do what one of my friends describes it as we extrovert everything, which means we're arguing.
Of course.
Sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
We work things out through argument. We're going back and forth and back and forth.
Because I'm always right.
And
Always.
strangers who come around us
Always right, Terry.
I
are like,
know it.
oh,
I
what?
know.
It's y'all. No, it's don't be upset. We're like, you all need to leave because we'll be sitting here holding hands, watching the television, watching some one of her favorite reality shows when
And
you all
eat
are
eggs.
gone. Okay, because this is nothing. This is how we communicate.
All right, y'all work it through.
We work it through because that's just, when you got two super strong personalities.
So I'm gonna read a piece from the book, and I'm very grateful. Our friend Jeffrey Hart is on.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
This is on page 19. Some relationships start as friends and grow into love. These relationships are often among the most enduring. We have two friends, Jeffrey and Denise Hart, who were best friends in high school and continued to stay in touch during college, even though they weren't dating. They dated other people during their college years, but none of those people connected with them on a basic level of friendship like they connected with each other. Their jobs moved them to the same city, and they rekindled the friendship. Eventually, they fell in love and got married. They have a tremendous marriage over, I think they're almost 40 years. And they have two beautiful daughters, and they still act like newlyweds. And so friends first. Chapter number 1, friends 1st. Now we talk about the spiritual part. You're a pastor, so and you're a first lady of a church, but also through the tough times, it's your faith.
Oh, definitely.
Am I right?
Amen.
Definitely.
No doubt.
It gotten
No
you
doubt.
through.
For us, it is.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
through the tough moments and the tough
Illnesses,
deaths
Yes.
of loved ones,
Right.
death of family. Same with you two.
Disappointments.
Yeah.
Disappointments.
Talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
the faith element, and then we expect certain things from a pastor. But what does you're a UCC trustee, and you go to the grand general.
You're referring to the General Synod.
You're delegate to the synod. Anyway, how did
I
the
have attended a synod or two in my time.
well, what is your faith? How does your faith get you through the tough times?
Well, it is a core part of our relationship, of our being, of course. I mean, you have to understand that this world exists on more than one level.
That's true.
There is the physical, but there's also a spiritual. And when you think about where you came from and where you're going, you have to understand that there has to be something beyond the physical.
Yeah.
And so when you connect with that, or when you start to connect with that, you realize that that your life's direction is determined by something greater than ourselves. I think of my concept of God is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
In the earlier concepts, we think of God as this person who's sitting on a mountain or on a cloud somewhere, who looks like us, who has a face and a body and maybe a beard or not, what have you. But as we begin to mature and develop, we realize that we cannot put God into our stage or our physical box.
Yeah.
God is the spirit of
Amen.
righteousness,
Amen.
of truth, of goodness that permeates all.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too philosophical, but when if you were a fan of the Star Wars movies, for instance, and they talk about the Force.
Yeah.
Well, God is the Force, and that since that Force permeates all things and all being and all existence, when we think about what is good, what is right, what binds us together, that's that spirit.
Amen. I think that's a great. I think that's
And
good.
again, it's a concept that I'm constantly
it's evolving. Oh, the God, I thought when we got married, we've always had a faith element in our marriage, which has sustained us. Particularly, one of the biggest challenges we had was blending families, which I thought y'all didn't have to do with. We had a blended family, which got messy. It got very messy, but it was our faith and praying through those moments and praying together and talking through it, and we decided not to give up.
And focusing on what the scripture says and choosing to do it even when you don't feel like it.
That's right. That's right.
And I would have to say that particularly for me.
Okay, last few minutes, we want to share with you maybe 2 secrets to a happy marriage that we'll start and then we'll throw it around to y'all. 2 secrets.
Sex.
All right, what was that?
Sex.
All right. My wife had no issue talking about sex, all right? Y'all know that she knows that sex is a major part of our marriage, and a brother got to get hooked up, all right? And she is Praise the Lord on that matter. Well, sex is a big part. What else is a happily married? What else keeps us going? I think the fact that she's not just my best friend, but she's my confidant. And
I think I'm your champion.
she's my champion.
So communicate.
good
So
word.
Yeah, that's the right
communicate
word.
with champion.
She champions my dreams and goals. One of the things I heard the other day, I heard Leona Lewis, who was Reginald Lewis's wife. She was at U.S. Black Chamber, and she said something that everybody in the room stood and clapped. She said, Reginald Lewis was a man with big dreams and big aspirations. And he would come home sometimes after he had just a dismal failure in trying to achieve his goals. She said he did not need anybody at home who was going to add to that failure.
That's right.
She said,
Yeah.
when he came in, I told him, I've got your back, whatever it takes. What a powerful, my wife has always had my back. Every venture, everything that's won well or failed. She said, I believe you can do it. A couple of tips from either one of y'all for things that have worked for y'all. Happily married tips.
You know, I always say partnership.
Partnership.
Kim and I have always been partners.
Yeah, even at Howard.
Even in how we started
do-
out in undergraduate
We did
school.
the
We did the Miss Howard pageant.
Oh.
We did, what else did we do? We did
did a
Miss
ton of
Howard.
stuff
We
together.
did so many different projects together.
We did.
And the first time we did a project, I knew that this thing could work because
all that stuff.
we did one project and I learned immediately the way it would work is if we both had our assigned lane. And
Right.
and the way it works is you stay in your lane, I stay in my lane. I don't come over there and you don't come over here. We do what we're supposed to do. We come down to the end. We've both been responsible and done what we're supposed to do. And it makes it work. That's how our marriage has worked. Kim is the saver. I'm the planner and the spender.
Okay.
Okay. When Kim retired, she had so much money saved. She didn't have to draw on her retirement for 2 years.
Wow.
Because she just had money in the bank. You know, people think they tell you need to have enough money in the bank to live for 2
My
years.
mother was the same.
My wife had money. I was like, you got that much money in the bank? She had money in the bank to live for 2 years. And so that works. I'm always thinking about, you know, I'm not a saver. That's not my nature, but I'm a hustler.
Okay.
So I've always had all these hustles. I'm trying to figure out another way to make money,
Right.
another way to accomplish our dreams and accomplish our goals, and I can figure it out, plan it, have it laid out. But Kim has always been there to have the backbone when some of my great plans didn't always come to fruition, or I didn't have what it took to be able to make my plans come. Kim will say, well, I've got X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, where did you get that from? But because she is always been a saver. She's much more frugal than I am. She, puts money aside and all of that. So that's how it works for us.
So y'all are partners.
We're partners. Partnership is the key
Partnership
word
is,
for us.
so we like the word champion from D. Partnership. Brad and Terry, what are a couple tips for people to having a successful, happy marriage?
I'm Bradley's cheerleader,
Yeah.
and he's my cheerleader. And I will never, ever embarrass him in any way, and he won't embarrass me. And I know what his passion is, he knows what my passion is, and we're supportive of each other in that way.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. Because with this guy, you always wait for any one tip from you? Or?
I don't know. I guess always having goals.
Yeah. Y'all have family goals and dreams that y'all work on?
Family goals and individual goals as well. Like Dee's often joked about me. He says, "What are you doing now?"
Right.
Because
Right.
I'm always starting something new. Sometimes I get bored, and so I need a project. I need something to drive me forward. Like the reason I'm wearing this shirt is because one of the projects I'm working right now is a degree. I mean, here I am in my mid-60s and I'm in college, basically. trying to get another degree.
Why not?
Why? Not because I need the degree or because for earning purposes. It was just a challenge. It was something that was interesting. I said, I can do that. I can get a Harvard degree. And so, but there's always a project. Willie and I are working on a project right now.
We're working on 98.6.
Yeah.
For those who don't know,
Yeah.
98.6, our album is coming out, and it's going to be fantastic. And it's music that we've had in a vault for 40 years.
40 years.
Awesome.
Did you write?
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was music that
Mhm.
a band of. We've been friends since we were kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we had this band. We got a record deal when we were in our late teens, early 20s. The record was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal record, and the record company went bankrupt right before it came out, and we could not get
They
the
would
music.
not release it
Would
to
not
us.
release it to us.
So we had to get it back through the provisions of the Copyright Act.
So we had to send him to law school so he could figure out all of the provisions. So he's a lawyer, and he came to us one day and said, there's a provision in the copyright law that allows it to revert back to its original orders after 40 years. And so the music is coming out this fall.
40 years.
After 40, and it's phenomenal
Wow.
music. It's
Yeah.
phenomenal. But that's our next project. So projects. So she champions. They champion each other. They support each other. They cheerlead each other. They partner together. We champion each other, and we are happily married. All of us are happily married, and that's a blessing. So we want more happily married folks.
Amen.
So for those who don't know, we're having our marriage seminar in October, and you can go to jollymarriage.com to learn the details, where it's going to be, when it's going to be, and how you can register. We recommend you do it now because this is going to be a great event. And we know a lot of people have issues. Some people have issues with communication. We've seen people who we get emails and calls from people every day from people saying, here's a problem I'm having in my marriage. Communication. We know money can be an issue. Sex can be an issue. But it all filters down to communication. If you can't communicate, then all of those things will become problematic. And if you can work through the problems. Am I right about it?
Yes.
Amen.
So I want to thank y'all. We went a little
over.
longer. We went a little longer than we usually. We're trying to keep these at 30 minutes, but this was so profound to have this moment with three couples who've been married over 30 years, 38, 35, 34, and are still happily married like newlyweds. And that's a blessing. Amen. Go to jollymarriage.com, get the book. Audio book will be out, I keep saying this month. It is done. The covers are done. We just now are packaging it. And then the live seminar was done at Grace Church last year, 2 CDs, also available at jollymarriage.com. The seminar will be coming up in October. And I want to thank y'all. We're going to go and see Barack and Michelle now. We'll see y'all later. Right. They've already gone back.
Right.
They're back in D.C.
Right.
Y'all have a good day. and don't forget to vote. It's very important. Because we gotta get this guy out.
There you go.
That's right.
All right, folks. Happy Married Monday.
Jolly
Good to see you.
out.
Jolly out. God bless y'all. See y'all later.
Jolly out.